Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our group will be represent the slide about problem-based tasks. This is my crew, which is Ahmad Edi Daniel bin Muhammad Wadi, me Halim Shah Nafi bin Muhammad Hanifiah, and Abdul Wafillah bin Masri. So first, disaster recovery plan. The disaster recovery plan is a documented and structured approach that describes how an organization can resume or quickly after an unplanned incident. Disaster recovery plan is an important part of a business continuity plan or BCP. This applies to aspects of the organization that rely on a functioning IT infrastructure. Disaster recovery plan aims to help organization resolve data loss and restores system functionality so that it can function after an incident even if it is operating at a minimum. The purpose of a disaster recovery plan is to comprehensively explain the consistent action that must be taken before, during, and after a natural or man-made disaster so that the entire team can take those actions. Disaster recovery plan should address both man-made disasters that are intentional, such as fallout from terrorism or hacking, or accidental, such as an equipment failure. Some type of disaster the organization can plan for include application failure, communication failure, multinational disaster, citywide disaster, and etc. So next is type of disaster recovery plan. First, virtualized disaster recovery plan. Virtualization provides opportunity to implement disaster recovery in a more efficient and simple way. A virtualized environment can spin up new virtual machine instances within minutes and provide application recovery through high availability. Next, network disaster recovery plan. Developing a plan for recovering a network gets more complicated as the complexity of the network increases. It is important to detail the step-by-step recovery procedure, test it properly, and keep it updated. Data in this plan will be specific to the network, such as in its performance and working style. Next, cloud disaster recovery plan. Cloud disaster recovery can range from a file backup in the cloud to a complete replication. Cloud disaster recovery can be space, time, and cost efficient, but maintaining disaster recovery plan requires management. Next, data center disaster recovery plan. This type of plan focuses exclusively on the data center facility and infrastructure. And operational risk assessment is a key element in the data center ERP, which is disaster recovery plans. It analyzes key components such as building location, full system and protection, security, and office space. The plan must address a broad range of possible scenarios. Next is disaster recovery plan goals. First, minimize risk. Perform a risk assessment to identify vulnerabilities in your current system before creating a disaster recovery plan. Second, resume operation quickly. As soon as possible, your systems must be available to you and your customers. Solution for accessing the system without requiring physical access, such as a software as a service or SaaS platform, and redundant data storage that can be accessed from anywhere should be included in your plan. Third, maintain industry compliance. Depending on your sector, you may be subject to certain regulation. Your disaster recovery plan should lower your chance of being fined for failing to meet compliance requirements. And last, address concern of employers, owners, and investors. Your disaster recovery plan should put your company's leaders, owners, employees, and investors at ease, knowing that their investment is safe. Make a list of the major worries from each of these groups so you can figure out which liabilities need to be addressed in the event of a disaster. Okay, next, strategies and tools for a disaster recovery plan. First, traditional on-premises recovery strategies. Information technology system require connectivity, data, hardware, and software, the entire system may fail due to a single component, so recovery strategies should anticipate the loss of one or more of these system components. For secure, climate-controlled computer room environment with backup power supply. Second, connectivity to a service provider. Third, hardware such as desktop and laptop computers, networks, wireless device, and peripherals, and servers. And last, software applications such as electronic mail, electronic data interchange, enterprise resource management, and office productivity. Next, data and restoration. For a business application that cannot tolerate downtime, actual parallel computing, data mirroring on multiple data center, synchronization is possible yet costly. Other solutions for mission-critical business applications and sensitive data include cloud backup and cloud-native disaster recovery, which reduce the need for expensive hardware and IT infrastructure. Next, internal recovery strategies. Some enterprises store data at multiple facilities and configure hardware to run similar applications from data center to data center when needed. Assuming offsite data backup or data mirroring are taking place, processing can continue and data can be restored at an alternate site under this documentations. However, this is a costly solution and one that demands an internal solution that is itself invaluable. Last, cloud-based disaster recovery strategy. Cloud-based vendors offer disaster recovery as a service, DRAS, which are essentially hot sites for IT disaster recovery hosted in the cloud. DRAS leverage the cloud to provide fully configured recovery sites that mirror the applications in the local data center. This allows users a more immediate response, allowing them the ability to recover critical applications in the cloud, keeping them ready for use at the time of a disaster. Next, is uh, this key that you must have in the disaster recovery plan. First, set your recovery time objective (RTO) and recovery point objective or RPO to adequately assess business needs. Setting RTO and RPO goals requires different departments. They can assist you figure out which hardware and software configurations you will need to get your works back on track. Second, take inventory of hardware and software. Take a complete inventory of your hardware and software. Categorize each application in one of three buckets. First, critical application, so you cannot do business without. Second application you will need to use within a day. And last, apps you won't need for a few days or more. You will know which programs to prioritize in the event of a crisis if you define your most vital applications. As you install new programs and remove old ones, you should examine the list once or twice a year. Next, identify personal roles. You must also explain the roles and that is associated during a disaster recovery event, in addition to your software and hardware requirements. A list of disaster recovery personnel together with each person's role, responsibility, and emergency contact information should be included in your disaster recovery plan. Everyone has a role to play, from C-suite executive to help desk representative, and each individual should be fully aware of their responsibilities. You should also have a backup plan in place in case someone goes on vacation or is no longer available. Next, choose disaster recovery site. A disaster recovery site where all of your company's critical data, assets, and applications can be transferred during a crisis is a part of any solid business continuity plan. Your key gear and software should be able to run in wherever location you pick. Disaster recovery plans typically use three sites. First, hot site, second, warm site, and third, hot site. This site should automatically perform backups and replicate workloads to speed up recovery. Next, outline response procedures. Documenting your recovery strategy is the only way to guarantee your team will know what to do and where to start. When it comes to documenting response processes, you can never be too true. The goal is to create complete openness and ensure that every member of staff is aware of the catastrophe recovery process from beginning to end. And last, identify sensitive documents and data. Beyond gear and software, you will need a list of critical documents and data that you can lose without causing major problems. This covers sensitive data such as personally identifiable information on PII, as well as who will have access to it in the event of breach or disaster. Next, I will pass to Wafi to continue the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Alim. Okay, I will continue present. Okay, 7. Create a crisis communication plan. You need a clear strategy for communication with employee, vendor, supplier, and customer in the case of disaster, regardless of the size of your organization. Okay, run continuous quality tests to ensure your plan is effective. The last thing you need if for your disaster recovery plan to fail when you need it most. Okay, next, UPS explanation. Okay, an electrical equipment deliver emergency power to a load. UPS varies from an ancillary for emergency power system or a backup generator in the it protect against input power interruption almost instantly by delivering energy stored in batteries, supercapacitors, or flywheels. Okay, next, what is UPS? This the UPS. Okay, next. Okay, how this hardware used when disaster occurs. Okay, 1. When the primary power source fails, the voltage decreases to an efficient level, or the voltage trigger and decreases an outage, and UPS deliver emergency backup power instantly. Okay, next, how to configure this hardware. 1. Log into the server and select Start Control Panel Power Option to open the Power Option Property dialog box. Second, display the UPS tab. And third, in the Detail group, click Select to open the UPS selection dialog box. Therefore, in the Select Manufacturer list, choose Enter American Power Conventional or Generic. 5. If you choose American Power Conventional in step 4, use the select model list to choose the UPS model you are using. Okay, 6. Use the on port list to select the server port that you using to connect to the UPS. Okay, 7. Click finish. 8. Click OK. Okay. UPS perform the following function. Yeah. First, absorb relative small power surges. Yeah, smooth out noisy power resources. Yeah, continuously provide power to equipment during line search. Okay, I will continue. Pass to my friend Ahmad Didin to present.
Hello, my name is Apa Adidania. So today I'm gonna present. Uh, today I'm gonna continue with RAID. RAID is redundant array of independent disks. So the explanation is RAID is a storage virtualization technology to organize multiple drives into various arrangements to meet certain goals like redundancy, speed, and capacity RAID. RAID can be categorized into software RAID and hardware RAID. In software RAID, in the memory architecture is managed by the operating system. In case of hardware RAID, there's a dedicated controller and processor present inside the disk that manage the memory. So this is a RAID diagrams. Next. So a RAID, so how it performs. RAID 1 uses a concept of data mirroring. Meanwhile, RAID 4 strips the data across multiple disks just as RAID 0. In addition to that, RAID 5 is very similar to RAID 4, but their parity information is distributed over all of these instead of storing them in dedicated disks. RAID 6 uses a lot of double parity block to achieve better data redundancy than RAID 5. They increase the fault tolerance up for up to 2 references in the array. RAID 10 combines both RAID 1 and RAID 0 by layering them in opposite orders. Next. How this hardware used when disaster occurs. RAID is extremely useful if uptime and availability are important to you or your business. 2. Backup will help ensure you from catastrophic data loss. 3. This backup could be hours or days old, costing you all the data stored and or changed since the last backup. 4. RAID allows you to weather the failure of one or more drives without data loss and in many cases without any downtime. 5. RAID is also used if you are having these IO issues where applications are waiting on the disk to perform tasks. 6. Additionally, if you go to hardware RAID, the hardware RAID card will include additional memory to be used as cache, reducing the strain put on the physical hardware and increase overall performance. Next, how to configure this hardware? RAID 0 arrays include 2 or more disk drives and providing data stripping. RAID 1 arrays consist 2 of drives. In this configuration, one drives or mirror or other, meaning they have both the same data on them. RAID 10 arrays consist 2 of equally sized RAID 1 arrays. RAID 5 arrays require minimum of 3 disk drive. For redundancy, for, redi- for, redi- for redundancy, this array uses data strip of parity, which is also provide data protection and performance boost. RAID 6 array are also referred to as dual drive failure protection. Uh, RAID 5 arrays require a minimum of 3 disk drives. For redundancy, for, redu- for redundancy, this array uses data stripping and parity, which also provides data protection and performance boost. Next. So this is reference that we gathered from online. So there it is. Next. Thank you.